Okay, there we go. Another intro is done. How are we all doing out there? Welcome to another THRS Deep Cuts. This is our Thursday night session. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Brendan.
Tonight we're going to be going through a few things like always. So we're going to be talking about the latest releases from Times of Grace and Crowne. We're going to go back and revisit an album celebrating its 10th anniversary this year from Steel Panther. I'll have a hot topic on our expectations of older bands and that in a second as well. But before we get stuck in all those things, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. Our details are in the description of this, a bunch of other things in there, like links to our sponsors. So please find them, give them a follow. A big thank you to Alt Cult, Rockstar Finance, and Squidding Screen Printing. Thank you so much for your support. Please find them and give them a follow as well. I'm not sure. We have started up with Twitch tonight as we do this one. I'm not sure how it's all going to work out, so I'm not sure, because I get a little notification here that's saying some can't post comments. Another Instagram can't post comments, or I can't see them here. So if you're on Instagram, maybe if you want to leave a comment, get on Facebook or Twitter or any of the other ones, YouTube as well. But otherwise, we're all just systems go and see how we go with Twitch tonight for the first time ever. So it's just, there's a whole bunch shit going on the back end, which I've got to watch it all sort of playing out to see what happens. And trying to talk while watching it all play out is fucking awkward at the best of times.
Producing and starring, man. You're a jack of all trades.
I'm trying. I'm not sure how well I'm doing, but I'm trying. We have some of our regulars joining us, which is fantastic. So Nudes. Hey, Nudes. Sally on Facebook this time. Thanks for jumping in. Awesome to see you here. Dean, another regular of ours. Hey, lads. I'm talk with you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. And David Fowler as well. G'day. So welcome. One and all, if you've got any questions, thoughts, whatever, as we go along, then please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm assuming I'll see most, if not all of them. But if I don't seem to respond to your comment, I do apologize, because I do what I can with what I got here. To that end, Sally's jumped in. So you're killing it, dude. Not bad for all self-taught DIY nonsense that we do here at the show. But anyway, let's get stuck into things. It's been a few days, but Dave, how you going this week?
Yeah, I'm good. Not much happening because we're in lockdown, but I'm still working, which gives me something to do. And we've been pretty busy because we're, half the country's closed, but we're focusing on what we can get overseas. So we're trying to get a big order happening. So it's been go, go, go. And then I come home and kids have been homeschooling all day, so they're jumping all over me because they want to have fun, which is cool. Gives me a chance to just quickly unwind and back into it. Apart from that, it's just movies, music, wrestling, and drinking. All the good stuff in life. Barbecue this weekend, get some red meat into me. Oh, good. Cool. How are you guys? How's things, Brendan?
Yeah, Brendan, how about you?
Yeah, not bad. They changed the restrictions slightly so we can get back to work from Wednesday this week, I think it was. So that's good. That keeps the money rolling in. So, which gets lockdowns can be a bit scary when income tends to zero, obviously, and we do kick the government quite regularly in this show, but I think they have done pretty bloody well for at least a business the size of mine and proper stuff. That's both state and federal. So there you go. It's a compliment for state and federal government. You won't hear that very often. That actually has kept us alive. So hats off to them. We didn't need to go cherry bar and get memberships. So life's all right. Yeah.
Cool. You're a bit choppy there at the moment, Brendan.
That's not the hot topic, is it?
Being used again.
Nah.
Now you're frozen. Bye, Brendan.
I'm sure he'll come back in a second. Oh, he's starting to come back slowly now. Wait for the signal to stabilise. For me, not a lot to tell since Sunday was the last session. Just another day, another week, another whatever. Just going through the motions. Work is flat out. So just keep them busy doing that, and then come home and do this job at the same time, and it's all good. Keep them busy. We've got a busy weekend coming up because we're going to film the Metal Church special, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then Sunday we'll do another stream. So it's another massive weekend coming up, and then all the TV editing that needs to go into that for next week for the marathon at the end of the month is going to chew up all that time as well. But generally speaking, everything's good. Just looking forward to Friday being the end of the week tomorrow, and settle into the weekend and try and get some downtime in. I think Brendan's back with us. I can see him blinking, which is good.
He's alive. Only just.
Barely.
Dude.
Andrew,
Move.
Dave stopped for me. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I think your connection's a bit funny because Dave and I are fine, I think. So I think Di's using the microwave. That's the excuse we go with, isn't it?
I was fine until you hit bloody go live. Then everything went pear-shaped.
Well, that's what happens, I guess. We've got a couple of questions before we get into the hot topic. Let's go to the Dean Whedon jumped in. Don't know if you guys have covered this, but who would you think would be the new bass player for Megadeth, or who would you like to be the new bassist? So, off the top of your head, who would you? I think we've covered who we think. Who would we like to see do it? That's an interesting one.
Lexi Fox.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a switch?
Would be
Great.
It would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, bass players don't really come to the mind all that quickly. It's usually a guitarist or any other member of the band. Sorry, bass players, if you're watching, but just don't think of you that often. But Rob Julia, stealing from fucking Metallica, that'd be funny.
That would be
Used to be player.
Yeah, he couldn't do it though. He's already admitted he couldn't play the old Metallica catalog.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're all getting a bit older.
So I think it's a bit of a thankless task playing in Megadeth, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Who'd they get when David Ellison left about a decade ago? Who'd they get then?
Forget his name. It's been floated before. We've had this conversation. I forget the name. If someone out in the comments knows it, bring it up who filled in before, because it has been talked about on here. I think that's why I'm making it more a case of who we'd like to see jump into it more than anything else.
Frank Bello would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It'd be funny to see like a Billy Sheehan or something get up there and do it.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
John Mayung from Dream Theater. He's got the chops.
Yeah. Les Claypool. Get Les Claypool to do it.
Yeah. That'd be fucking interesting. Imagine Les in his jumpsuit.
Imagine the scenes if Tom Araya jumped over.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't do it.
No, he wouldn't have to sing. He just have to play.
Yeah. He couldn't do it. His bass was barely playing in Slayer half the time. Fucking hell.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Frank Bello, I think that's who filled in before from memory.
Okay.
Frank, I might be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, I apologize. It's just a name that's popped in my head. I'm not sure. Someone said Flea in the comments there. So what was that? That was he jumped in to say Flea.
Yeah.
And you said it was the guy from White Line that filled in before.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Here's one that'll piss off Dave. Duff.
That literally came into my brain a minute before that came up. Poor Duffy, like, slow down, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Flipping the script, the same question, but for Steel Panther. Who would be a good fit for Steel Panther on bass?
David Ellison. He's got the great credentials.
I was waiting for that.
Rob Trujillo's son.
Hey?
Trujillo's son.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's about 15. That'll go well.
Yeah. I do think that in that context, someone like a Les Claypool or a Billy Sheehan would be interesting to see do that just for a little while.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who would fill Steel Panther, because you need music ability, but you also need that character and personality for that band and the image.
Yeah, they'll find someone on the Sunset Strip that can buddy step in. I'm sure.
Yeah, that won't be too hard for them. I'm pretty sure. These are
That'd be a great gig.
playing in Steel Panther would be a lot of fun. A lot.
I would kill would kill for that fucking.
That
gig.
would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd lose weight, wear a wig. I don't give a shit. Bring it on.
Hey, the payoff would be worth it, I reckon. So that'd make it all worth the while. The effort there. All right. We have
the youngest member of the group.
Yeah, it would be true. That would be very, very true. Another random one from Stephen Smith. How do we rate the writing on the wall from the Iron Maiden, like the new track there? I liked it.
I liked it.
So,
Yeah, I like it too. You know, something a little bit different for them, something I haven't heard before. Still sounds like Maiden, and excited for the new album. If, going off this song, it's gonna be interesting. It's a double CD and it's a long song. So, right up my alley.
I really dug that song. A lot of people didn't, but I find it had a better
weird.
It had a better sort of traditional song structure than their last few things have churned out. I really liked it. I thought it was cool. I'd be curious to see what the rest of the album's like everyone else. But I think the vinyl's a triple, so it's $140 bucks.
Yeah, well, we've got a comment here about that. Someone's Stephen Smith's also looking forward to the triple LP pack. Yes, so definitely enjoyed the song. I like the different flavor, and I'm curious about the album for sure. So let's see how it all goes. That'll be tying into a hot topic in just a second. So we'll go to some more comments here. Adam Roach has jumped in on Facebook. Say, hi guys, new listener to the show. I host a podcast called Become a Guitarist today, and have a few of the same guests on the show. Awesome, cool. Glad you're chatting to the same people we're chatting to as well every week. That's awesome to see more people or more support for the local bands. That's fantastic. So thanks for jumping in here tonight. Where else are we going down here? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Gojira Amazonia has a riff taken from a Bon Jovi track, which I think was one of his movie singles. So distinct, I nearly crashed. Random comment. I'm not sure the context, but all right there. It might be a reply to someone else. Okay. Stephen Morrill said for Steel Panther, Michael Anthony. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. He'd also have to lose weight and put on a wig.
This is true. Stelly's jumped in to say arseless chaps for Brendan when you were saying if you did it before. I mean,
again, lose weight and shave down for that one, I think.
Yeah. You can convert that to your wig. There you go. Gene Simmons is one that's being thrown around here for a bit. That'd be interesting. Dave Fowler, Steve DiGiorgio from Testament re-recorded the bass tracks. Okay, cool. That's an update on that one for us as well. Cool. So where else are we on here? All right. Cool. So let's get into the hot topic while we've got a minute here. So the hot topic tonight is inspired by Dave. So I'll throw to you first in a second, but just as a brief little introduction for it. The idea here is to talk about people and expectations on older bands when they're releasing new music. So, Dave, I'm assuming this is to do with Iron Maiden and the never-ending back and forth over the new album coming out. But generally speaking, what made you think of it, and where does your mindset go on this?
Yeah, it was definitely by the recent talk about Maiden, but there's been a lot of new music from old bands coming up, and everyone has their own expectations and their own opinion, partly before the album is even released. And I think some people kind of judge it based on what they grew up with, what they like about a band, rather than just giving it a listen with fresh ears. So personally, I think it depends on the band and how often they release new music. Some bands, as they get older, some can still go, they can still do exactly what they did. Others change over time. Some are sadly stuck in the era, so they can't really release new music. We'll get to some examples of that later on, but I actually wrote some notes on a hot topic, which I've never done before.
Wow.
Yeah, some people expect the band to release the same old thing over and over. So Master of Puppets Part 2 or Number of the Beast Part 2. It's done. Those albums exist. I like a band to grow. That's just me. And it's a tough line because you want a band to sound familiar, but you don't want them to deliver the same album over and over. Some bands can do that, but I like seeing how bands grow over time. I've changed from when I discovered a lot of these bands, and I'm sure they have too. Especially now, I don't think bands can really do a drastic style change like Metallica did on Load or Kiss did with The Elder. I don't think those experimental albums are available these days because music is so easily consumable. If somebody doesn't like something, they'll just move on to the next file. Rather, if you buy a CD, you're more inclined to give it a couple more chances and it will grow over time. But And plus, it also depends on how often the band releases new music. I mean, you get Alice Cooper that releases an album every 2 years, maybe 3. And if you do that, you can get away with shorter albums. But if you have to wait 4, 5, 6 or longer years, I want a full CD's worth of content, because that's all I'm going to get for another 4, 5, 6 years. So I want something I can keep going back to and something that's going to grow on me. So I'm happy with long albums from bands that don't release all that time. I also prefer quality over quantity. When you go back over the last 15 years, Megadeth have released a shitload of music, but a lot of the albums tend to bleed into each other. It's like, what album had that song on it? But Metallica, they release an album, it becomes an event. And you know, Death Magnetic, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Saint Anger, you know these albums. Whether you like them or not, you know what these albums are. You know most of the songs on it.
Fair enough,
You get some bands that can still go and release albums that matches up to their previous catalog. Like just in recent years, Judas Priest released a fucking great album. Halloween just recently, anything was stacked up against anything they've ever done. Armored Saint and Flotsam and Jetsam just recently, they're fucking great albums. Then you got bands like some good stuff there. Then you get bands like Anthrax that consistently release albums, but they've also grown. And if you listen to Among the Living, then you listen to the most recent Anthrax album, you're just like, the same band, but how did they get from there to there? You go back and you listen to the albums in between, you see the journey that they've been on, the growth. Whereas, you know, like I said, Maiden and Metallica release an album every 5 years or so, it's a big event.
Yeah.
Then you've got bands that have changed so much from when they started. You got Wasp, and you know, if you listen to their first album, you listen to Golgotha, it's like, how did that happen? You have to hear the journey in between. I think Blackie's become a much more interesting songwriter because he's become a Christian, and I'm the last religious person in the world, but because he focuses on the darker side, his songwriters become interesting. Then you get bands like Kiss, where the majority of people are just stuck to nostalgia. Nobody wants new music from Kiss, even though Monster and Sonic Boom were fucking great. I like them. But, but everyone just wants Love Gun, and they're not going to win new fans these days, so they've got no reason to release a new album. And I'm probably going to get shot for this one, but the new AC/DC album was released late last year. I honestly couldn't tell you a song title off that album. I love AC/DC, but I'm going to the classics over there because they just released the same album. And it was a good album. I enjoyed listening to it at the time. It didn't leave a mark on me. And then you got surprises.
The audience choice #1 for last year, that one.
I know. I'm probably going to get some hate for that, but you know, I'm just being honest. I don't remember a damn thing of it. I haven't heard it since last year. Then you get surprise ones like Susie Quattro and Cheap Trick that we reviewed earlier this year. And I didn't even know these people were still making music, and it surprised the hell out of me. Then I'm going to end on this one, Guns N' Roses. Okay, Axl can still sing, Slash can still deliver. Whether you like the new lineup or not, they're a tight band. If they release new music, that's going to be cool. But my one concern with that is, what the hell are they going to sing about? They're not the same people they were 30 years ago, so you're not going to get Appetite for Destruction. Axl's not losing his mind, so you're not going to get Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. He's not looking for clarity and searching for forgiveness and everything, so you're not going to get Chinese Democracy. What the hell is his songs going to be about? You got other bands where you had like the party rock and roll lifestyle. It gets really sad when they get into 60s and 70s if they're still singing about that same content. But that's what you want from that band. So
I think you can still get the serious side of them. Like it works for Miles Kennedy and Slash. So I think, I don't say that.
I think Axl's lyrics could get political because he fucking hates Trump if you follow him on Twitter. So, but Trump's gone. But that's just one thing. You can't have an album of all the same content. So it'd be interesting to see. But that's just my little rant. What do you guys think?
You go. I've got some cool comments coming through, but yeah, go for it, Brendan.
I think you spent a lot more time thinking about this than I did. That's what I think.
Definitely.
Well, I had to. I brought up the subject.
Look, I've always been against anyone that kicks a band for releasing material, no matter what it is, because particularly like classic bands, because classic bands have been their stripes. They can release whatever the fuck they want, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't have to like it, and I won't necessarily like it. But, I'm willing to run the gauntlet because, I've heard Metallica release a bunch of what I would say not as good albums until we got something that I thought was really good in Death Magnetic. That was me.
Yep.
Anthrax, I wasn't a massive fan to the buddy John Bush era like others were. I liked a couple of the albums in there, but some of them were a bit average, I thought. Then Worship Music came out of nowhere.
That was nuts.
Which was amazing. And Judas Priest is another classic example, of something that came out of nowhere and blew us all away. So, look, I'm happy for them to release as much as they want. My biggest gripe is there's nothing else coming through to go up against them, and that's not their fault. Yep. That's just the industry's change. So yeah, I mean, I'll listen to anything. Like you. I mean, I like that last AC/DC album too. I thought it was great. Is it going to be as memorable, as I'm getting older as like, TNT and Back in Black? Well, of course not. Yeah, that's it'd be ridiculous to think they would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But it's still good stuff, and I'll listen to any of it. Any band I ever respected. I mean, Jesus, I've listened to the last 5 Danzig albums. They've been fucking awful.
Yeah.
So, it happens. Yeah, some of them get it, some of them lose it. Some of the best part of the music we like is it comes from angsty, angry places. Yeah. And when you're living in a beach house in Malibu, it's probably pretty difficult to write that album. So if we go to a different place, it's cool. They can all do whatever they want and check it out. I said my biggest frustration is there's nothing out there to test them. But something I like that Iron Maiden have obviously ignored, that a lot of albums are now going back to be a bit more concise because of the vinyl revival. Everything is going back to shorter than 45 minutes. And I like that. I'm surprised how much I'm that. Everyone's cutting the buddy filler out. No 20-track albums anymore. We get back to 10 and 11. I reckon that's cool, personally. But then again, I'm a fossil, so who cares?
All right. Do you have anything else you want to add, or are you done there?
Yeah.
No. I've tried to make it a rule as years have gone by for myself personally to not have expectations or any great hopes. I mean, you can't avoid it. You want to have hopes for a band, especially ones you loved. When they drop a new album, you want to like it. But for me, I try to avoid placing any sort of level of expectation, because the ones that you don't expect a lot out of usually surprise the absolute fuck out of you. And the ones you have high expectations of usually let you down. So I try and just cut that down to only get disappointed if it's not executed well. So if the performances aren't up to it, or if the writing is too just whatever, or the production is shit, those are the things that'll irk me. Beyond that, it's art. And I think that, expecting artists that have been around for decades to churn out the same album over and over again is kind of redundant, because they're humans. They're going to grow and change. They'll write different things, do different things. And I think that if you want something that sounds more like what they did back in the heyday, well, then you're spoiled for choice. Log into Spotify and you'll find a million of them. So I don't think you're going to have any trouble there. If you're not happy with what the old band that you used to love is producing today, then hey, go and find a new band that is producing that stuff, because there's plenty of them around as well. So I don't get too caught up in it all. I do find it interesting how divisive it is online. You go to the YouTube comments or Facebook comments and all sorts of stuff, and it goes nuts. It's either you love it or you fucking hate it. There's no real middle ground much anymore, which is the most interesting part of observing it all play out. So that's really interesting to me, is watching the fan bases respond. So even on the new one from Iron Maiden, the Writing on the Wall, that went really each way on that one. There are a lot of people going, no, they can't do it anymore, to other ones that adored it and loved it. And that middle ground just doesn't seem to be there. It's that whole polarizing effect we find with all social media is happening in that regard as well. That's funny. But when you get ones that are universally loved, that's the cool thing. When you get ones that are universally hated, it's interesting. So I'm happy for them to keep releasing music, doing whatever they want to do under their brand. I just think so long as it's not an entirely different departure. So if you're a classic rock band like AC/DC and they released a dance remix album, that might be a bit odd. But beyond that, you can play in the space as long as it's in your wheelhouse kind of thing. Then you're okay. If it's going to be wildly different, just do it under a different name. With the way social media works these days, it'll fly anyway. So you're going to get it heard about. So that's all I really think about it these days. I don't get too caught up in it all. I like to just sort of take it in. And also, because we do what we do here, I try to not read a lot about these ones until I get a chance to hear it, because you don't want to have those things coloring your point of view either. So I really just, when I know there's like for the Iron Maiden one coming out September 3rd, I think it is, when that comes out, I'm going to be avoiding everything I can between now and then about reading it and just going to listen to what the band puts out, and beyond then, that's it. So that's all I kind of think about it. But yeah, getting too caught up, like it's good for the hype, but this is where I also feel differently about the rollout of things these days as well, which there's a comment I'll go to in a second. But I think you're almost better off just dropping the album cold and then releasing songs after the fact these days, as opposed to building up a shitload of hype, and then I think it dissipates a lot quicker that way. But that's a different conversation for a different time. But yeah, I don't think it's worth getting too caught up in it, because if you're a fan of the band, I'm pretty sure you'll find something to like about every album they do anyway. No one hates an album from start to finish of a band they love. I don't find that very often.
The Elder Kid.
See, I liked that one. That's different. I kind of. What was that, Brendan?
I love The Elder. It's a great album.
I think it's fantastic. Yeah, anyway, you're going to get our number to you, Dave. But yeah, give us your thoughts out there about your expectations on older bands when they're bringing out newer music, let's say. Stephen Morrill, when you were talking about yours, Dave, our good friend from Torrential Thrill, said based on the snare down, Dave. So that's your...
Snare doesn't bother me. I can overlook it.
He likes an anger.
Yeah.
Sally jumped in saying Dee Snider is another example of all the ones that are... And he's got a new album coming out, I think, next...
I'm looking forward to that. 2 singles that have been released have been killer.
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Is he writing, or is it the brothers in the band? Because that was like the last album, wasn't it? It was actually the 2 brothers in the band wrote all the material. Dee's basically just a mouthpiece for it. Yeah, pretty bloody good mouthpiece.
I think it's the same formula.
It's going to be interesting, but I'm looking forward to that one for sure. Tony Ashcroft jumped in to say, as soon as any band releases a new album, many people jump in them claiming, oh, this is nothing like them, blah, blah, blah. Some Maiden fans are like that at the moment. So, and that's basically what we were paraphrasing there. They did it just much more succinctly than we did there.
Yeah.
Darren's jumped in with a random question here, which we'll probably might reserve for another hot topic another time. A lot of talk about whether full albums are still relevant. Do you think that an EP of 5 songs every year is the go, the equivalent of 2 albums over 4 years? But the EP scenario keeps momentum and interest going. Probably a different hot topic for another time, because that'd be one that we can get stuck into. Sorry?
I prefer albums.
Yeah, I'm okay with either, to be honest. I don't mind having more music more often. It's an interesting one, that one. But yeah, let's dig into that one a little bit there too. Stephen also said, "Dear Brendan, still swimming in the citrus. If you had to pick another colour other than orange, what would it be?"
Let's go with yellow or black, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Here we go.
Striper sound.
Yeah.
Striper colour.
Yeah. Matthew Corder jumped in saying people are stuck with the old classics, enjoy the band, give the new stuff a go. I completely agree with that sentiment there, so nicely put. And here we go. Tony Ashcroft jumped in too, saying some fans don't want their bands to sound different, cute, but every Metallica fan. People are complaining about the new Maiden song as well. Bands should evolve. Bands been around, like Maiden been around for 40 years. What do people expect? He liked Book of Souls. I think Dave liked that one. That was a pretty good album. So that's it. Where are we going here? Okay, Dean, I'll get on to the reviews in a second, but as long as a classic band's release good content and to the point, you can hear the band enjoying themselves to the record and you enjoy it yourself, that's all that matters. A lot of big bands don't need to release new albums. They do it because they love it. Example being new albums from AC/DC, Metallica, Judas Priest, etc. I enjoy the older statement bands release it and hope to get something out of it no matter what or how it is. I just great to see them still doing it for me. And I think it's the same thing. Like the Accept album from earlier this year is an absolute fucking belter. So that's one of the ones for me this year. It's like there's always one or two every year that jumps out and goes, wow, we're throwing down the gauntlet. The Styx album from earlier this year was a really pleasant surprise. Yeah. I really did enjoy that one too. So, you find some older bands just release some gems here and there, which is always nice. And David has confirmed that next Friday, Dee Snider comes out. So, yes, that's definitely on our to-do list for next week, but not for this week. All right. Feel free as we go along to leave your thoughts and all that sort of stuff on anything we're covering here in the show, in the comments. But for now, we're going to move on to our first review of the evening. And in the description or in the comments now, you're going to find a link to the song is Perceval. The band is Crowne. And that's your reference track for the new album from them, which we're going to review in just a second. So this is Crowne with Kings in the North. 11 tracks, 43 minutes, the debut album from this supergroup of Swedish melodic rock, hard rock bands, produced by band member Jonah T. The lineup consists of Alexander Strandl from Art Nation on vocals, Jonah T on keys and guitar, John Levin of Europe on bass, and Christian Lundqvist of the Poodles on drums, with Love Magnuson of Dynasty providing guitar solos. Released June 2021 via Frontiers Records. 3 singles have so far been released, including Charlene and Perceval. We slotted this one. There was a fair bit of love for this in the THRS lounge a little while back, and so we were going to do it, and then we just sort of skipped it because we had other things to do a particular week. So, Dave, I know you've had some time with this one. Let's go to you first on this.
Okay. Everything on this is done well. The performances are great. All the musicians can certainly play, and they work well together as a band. Singer's got a good voice. Guitar solos are good. If it's the guy from Dynasty are a fucking great band, so that makes sense why the guitar solos are good. Yep. And, well, it's a good listen, but there's not that much that makes it stand out from any other album in this genre. And if I want this style of music, I'll go to Eclipse or Heat, and basically because those bands have better songs. But it's not that there's anything wrong with this album. Like I said, it's well done. It's just there's nothing there. It's good. It's great across the board, but it's just there's nothing that makes you think that's a really killer song. But it's an enjoyable listen. But, timing is everything. I mean, we were going to review it a few weeks ago, like you said, and at the time, it was a lot like that. This time around, I did enjoy a couple of songs a bit more. It's clean-sounding production. It's a safe listen. It won't push any boundaries. There's no experimenting with sounds or styles. And if someone put it on at a party, it'd be cool. I can listen to this, but I wouldn't go out of my way to put it on. Yeah. The last song, the album close, fucking sucks. It's a shit song. Very poor choice to close an album with. Save me from myself. Yeah. It is pure self-indulgent squirt fest material. It is way too weepy. It's fucking terrible. It just leaves the whole album on a downer. The guitar solo is pretty damn good on that one, though. So if it was earlier and they had a better song to finish it, it might be acceptable. But everything except the solo on that song sucks. Apart from that song, it's a good listen. I know I sound like I can the album, but like I said, it's not bad. It's just not great. And there is so much great stuff in this genre. And, if I heard this before hearing Eclipse and Heat, there's some fucking great albums from those bands. Yeah. I might like this more, but that's not the way it worked out. I heard the better bands first. So the competent lesser bands aren't going to stand out as much as the exceptional bands. Yeah.
The bar's already been set.
Exactly. But it gets 7 out of 10. A few standouts. Kings of the North, Perceval, Mad World, and Set Me Free. Decent songs.
All right. Cool. Brendan, are we going to get the obligatory shake a tree in Sweden and get a band to fall out? Comment from you tonight?
I'm guessing Brendan loves this.
Well, yeah. Look, normally when I hear Swedish melodic rock, I tune out. I thought this was the best album I've heard of that genre fucking ever. I think it torched Heat, and I think it eclipsed Eclipse.
Wow.
I don't know what the fuck you guys listen to. I really don't. This was a much better performed, much better written album than anything I've heard from those guys. And those guys are good, but they all sound the fucking same to me. This does stand out, which is the exact opposite of what Dave said. So there you go.
Wow.
No, this had me hooked start to finish.
Your opinion isn't valid.
I like what?
You like Limp Bizkit. Your opinion is not valid.
Yeah, you like Chinese democracy, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
No, I thought this was great. The guitar solos definitely stood out. The guy's voice wasn't sort of whiny, bitchy like you get in this genre a lot of the time. It really winds me up. I just thought it had a lot more drive and a lot more impact than any other stuff I hear that falls into this. I even hate genres. I don't really, I don't even know what you would call this. I just call this a damn good hard rock bordering on heavy metal album. This was bloody good. I enjoyed it. The one thing I will agree with your standouts, Dave. I think mine were exactly the same. I think we had Mad World, Set Me Free, Perceval. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So there you go.
song.
Also, the
I didn't
standouts.
say it was bad. I just said it wasn't as good as other stuff.
No, you're wrong. It's better than other stuff. So I'll give it 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Had Monumentum from Eclipse. Fuck.
Jesus. I did not expect it to go that way, but all right. Cool. That's good. Oh, that was gold. 9 out of 10 from Brendan. That's nice. Oh, wow, that's cool. Well, for mine, it kicks off exactly like you expect with this sort of music. It's got big hooks and vocals backed by big punchy sound wall between the guitar and the synth and stuff. Got a lot of gloss going on with this, but I like the energy on this one. I'm a bit like Dave, where my first couple of passes at it were a bit sort of, okay, it's good, but not riveting. My recent pass for this week going over it again was like, okay, give it a bit more time. This one is one of those ones where you want to sit with it a little bit, sort of listen to it, go away for a bit, come back, and then you'll probably appreciate it a lot more. I thought there were some moments in here where the lead got to come out front and center. The lead guitar work on this was outstanding. But the same thing with the synth. It didn't overpower anything either. It was all really, it colored up the sound wall nicely. And everything was complimentary about this. All the performances, all the writing, everything was done in a complimentary way. Nothing was trying to like for a super group, there's always that risk where someone's trying to push forward a bit more than the rest. That didn't happen here, which is fantastic. It's huge sound. Production is big on this one. A lot of layering going on, but they've got that balance between the grit and the polish just right, which is cool. Nice crunch in this one, I thought. Like it wasn't over the top polish to the shithouse like you get a lot of this style of music. They had a bit more crunch than a lot of the other ones. What was that, mate?
It was ballsy. I liked it.
Yeah, it had a ballsier sound to it. And I liked how they layered in things like vocal additions and lead work, like little just moments. Nothing outstanding, but it just some really attention to detail and layering and the composition and all sorts of stuff was really nicely done on this one too. And I thought it was all really well written. The lyrics are what you expect, but they're well done too. And because this album's got a bit more balls, so it's a bit more up-tempo than a lot of the other stuff from the genre, this one flies by. It's not an overly soft album. It's got a lot of energy going on to it. Big hooks, but there's a lot of energy. It's always pushing, always moving, which is cool. They do have some heartfelt moments on there, but they're done well. And across this, the conviction and the presentation are bang on for it as well. I think that it is one of those ones where, like I was saying before, like I listened to it a few times, then we were going to review it, then we shelved it for a while, and we came back to it. The first couple of spins hooks me every time. But once I get past that, it's kind of like, yeah, I want to move on to something else. So it's one of those ones where you pull it out, give it a spin or two, be really, really happy, but it's not one of those ones where you can repeat it for a long time kind of thing. So it'll be a regular listen for short periods of time, if that makes any sense there. But I think it's a solid record, well and truly worth checking out. If you like it melodic and rocking, then this is one for you. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I picked Kings in the North, Set Me Free, and 1 in a Million. So I got different standouts. So for diversity.
But no one liked the last song.
No one thought that was a highlight. So we'll go with that as a theory.
I also don't remember hating it. So
yeah, I didn't recall hating any song on this one. That was a bit interesting, but oh well. Horses for courses, I guess. It's funny, that one. I thought it was a good album. Not bad at all. Well worth checking out. I don't know, for me, because the term supergroup is applied, I don't know if it quite lived up to the individual talents, but they did a good job of not overriding each other. So that's probably enough for what this sort of thing is too. Speaking of all this other stuff, Darren's jumped in with the comment saying Eclipse released a new song and video about an hour ago for their upcoming album. Yeah, I did see that was coming up. Haven't had a chance to check it out yet, so I'll have to go and have a look at that one. But there you go. So, Dave, I'm pretty sure you'll want to check it out. Brendan, I'm not so convinced that it'll be for you. But we'll see how we go. Okay, next up in the comments or in the description or post or wherever you're tuning into this one, I'm going to put a link in to a band called Times of Grace. The song is Currents. So if you can't see it in the comments, then go and look up the band Times of Grace, the song Currents. It's a video that was dropped for this, I think, today or yesterday or something. It's a very, very recent release for this album. And this is going to be our next review. So Times of Grace, Songs of Loss and Separation. The band themselves have abbreviated that to Solace. 10 tracks, 49 minutes. The second studio album from this side project of Killswitch Engage members Adam Dukovic and Jesse Leach. Released July 2021 via Wicked Good Productions, produced by Adam Dukovic. At least 2 singles been released in The Burden of Belief and Medusa. This is the group's first album in 10 years, and they've been joined by Dan Glusak on drums, who toured for the previous album and is now a permanent member of this band. Dave, went to you first last time, so Brendan, over to you to kick this one off.
Yeah. Didn't do a lot for me, this one. In fact, to be honest, I even struggled to get through it. It kind of felt like running in treacle from start to finish. It was a bit...
Okay.
It's just forever sort of spinning its wheels. I mean, I kind of... I get it. It's obviously a side project for them, and, you know, I get it when the guys have side projects, they write stuff that's not going to fit their main project. It sort of goes off. But, you know, sometimes stuff that doesn't fit for a reason. Again, it's not bad. It just really cuts into when the screamy vocals come in, it seems completely bloody unnecessary.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't seem to be suiting the songs. I know the songs are very angsty and you know, they're sort of coming from a hurtful place, but to me it seemed kind of not genuine, which is probably completely unfair, not knowing the guys or the story they're trying to tell, really.
Wow.
But yeah, I struggled with it. It's not bad if you like this kind of stuff. Yeah, you might get it, but maybe it was just a bit too somber, or maybe it wasn't in the right mood, or yeah. I said I struggled to get through it. It just really, really sort of plodded along for me, and I was waiting for things to kick off, and they never really did. So it's one of those ones I found hard to highlight or even score highly. So I'll give it a 6 because I can hear what's going on. It's okay. But as far as highlights, it just felt like 11 songs of mush.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. All right. Dave, did you go any better?
Wow. Me and Brendan are not going to agree on anything tonight, except Steel Panther, I hope.
Fucking we should agree on that one, surely.
I hope so. But, yeah, this was interesting. First song, very laid back. I thought, okay, this is going to be something mellow. Then you get the second song, Mend You, and it's similar, and then they start building up these new dynamics as it unfolds, and then we get some harsh vocals towards the end. I'm like, okay, there's a lot in this field of what they got to work with, so this is going to be interesting. And I do wish they kept that song going just a little bit more, because they had these extra dynamics added to it, and then it finished. It could have been cool to go back and forth. But then you get a bit of that throughout the album, so that's good. A good setup. Start with the mellow, add it into the second song, and then as the album unfolds. So I thought that was cool album craftsmanship.
Yep.
The lyrics on that second song are really great. I love that. And throughout the album, really interesting and honest. As the album title implies, songs of love, songs of loss and separation, it does focus a lot on the melancholy. But for me, this wasn't a depressing listen at all. It's moody and dark, but there's a lot of emotions in the lyrics, and the vocal performances are really impressive. And most importantly, I thought it was honest all the way through. I know Brendan just said it didn't seem natural or whatever, but yeah, I thought this whole thing was just get this all off your chest and just do it in a great way. And
it had a visceral quality to it.
Yeah, it wasn't just writing songs for the sake of writing songs. It was like, this is kind of therapy for the musicians. And because of that, you get that honest approach, and then the listener can identify that this is something that is not written just to be cool or to make some music and get it out there and become fucking rich and famous. This is songs that need to be told because there's something inside these people that has to come out. You get that honest shit. It's like, okay, cool. The listener knows that that's what it's for. So it's like that give and take. Yeah. The production really helped to create the mood as well. That song Bleed Me had a really interesting sound, and right from the start you get those vocals and they're right up the front. Yeah, this is cool. It's like songwriting, production, everything all coming together to create this mood. Yeah. And I got a bit of an Alice in Chains vibe here and there. I mean, kind of the droning, drawn out moods and the notes and everything. Yeah, except they got a heavier dynamic. You get the harsh vocals as well, so get in their own style. But after I listened to it, I checked out the blurb on Spotify, and yeah, some of the guys from Killswitch Engage, which, you know, I like Lamb of God, I like Shadows Fall, but Killswitch Engage I never got into. But yeah, I'm surprised because this is nothing like what I know from that band. Yeah, if you're after something different, definitely give this a listen because it's unique and it's not something you're going to hear all the time. I get this 8 out of 10. Mend You, Bleed Me, and To Carry the Weight on my standouts. Very cool listen.
Yep. All right. Sorry, Roy, I did see your comment. Give me a minute and then we'll get to your comment there in just a second. This one, like you hear Kill Switch Engage being associated. This is nothing like that. So just put that right out of your mindset. This is much more rock than metal overall. Although when this does kick into gear, it's got some serious bite to it. It's funny because you mentioned Alice in Chains, but for me there were little moments, particularly in the song Rescue, the syncopation and tonality remind me a little bit of Pagan, that Melbourne band that we all really enjoyed that called it quits a little while ago. So I got a bit of that from this one too. So I think if you're a fan of that band, this might be one to check out. It's not the same thing, but there's a certain element about it to me which just, crossed over for mine. I'm pretty sure Brendan's frowning at me for saying that. He's not getting it. But anyway, that's something I picked up on it. Heaps of layering in this one. The great use of different tones, especially in the guitar, to change the moods of this as it goes through. It gets a little bit sort of earlier, not late at all, but the earlier Perfect Circle stuff from album 1 and 2. You get a bit of that in this regard. Really luscious soundscapes applied to it as well. And they've used the guitars in this one as almost like a string instrument, which is a different approach, which was really cool for mine. The way they build things in and out with using the studio as an instrument as well, but the way they used effects and that was really cool in it. This is almost the perfect lockdown album. If you're an introspective sort of a person, it's not a happy listen at all. It's very dark, very melancholy. But if you're an introspective person, this is one of those ones where you're going to sit down and it's going to make you think. And it's dark, it's brooding, it's looking back into the past a bit. So it's one of those albums that, for me, it fits the vibe. Winter, lockdown, it's probably the time of year to listen to this sort of music if you're going to. It's not a summer album at all. No. That could be the problem, yeah. It could be the problem indeed. I like the lyrics. I like the vocal delivery as well. I thought the conviction was good. It was powerful. It was emotional. The switches between the clean vocal and the harsh vocal worked for me. And all in all, it was balanced and brought impact. It wasn't overdone for mine. And to that end, the mix was perfect for this style of music. I love the polish, but they didn't lose any grit in the process. They managed to give it an edge, along with that depth and space because of the soundscapey kind of stuff. They really did use reverb and panning to perfection on this one to build all those things, but they still gave it a nice bite when it needed it too. And I thought there was a haunting, darker side sonically to this. It was really well presented, and I loved how the tones and layering all accent that. But the kick drum always drove through. No matter how atmospheric things were getting, the kick drum was always pounding the line, which is nice. I thought when they kicked into gear, it was great. When they dialed it back, it was soft, and the emotional roller coaster this one was nicely done. It was very much like, it's funny because the one I referenced, the track I gave to everyone to reference, it's just lyrics over the ocean, and it's kind of like that. This swells and falls away again nicely as a flowing listen. Like I said, not happy, but it's one of those ones where if you want something that's a bit different, a bit moody, it's got weight as opposed to heaviness, then this is one it's got enough punching to carry it through. But yeah, it's one of those ones that's a bit different. I didn't know what to expect when to put this on, to be honest. I chose it because it was a release from last week and it had a lot of Spotify followers, so I thought, okay, we'll give it a go. But for me, I really enjoyed it. 8.5 out of 10. Far From Heavenless, The Burden of Belief, and Mend You were my standouts on this one. So that was cool. Going back to our hot topic from Roy here for a moment. He said, you said people who love a band have no album they hate, but no one likes Lulu or Van Halen 3.
Lulu, I got through. I don't dislike it, but I call it not a Metallica album. It's Brendan just walked off. It's a collaboration. I haven't heard Van Halen 3, so I can't comment.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Roy's right.
See, I have a caveat to this comment because Lulu is not a Metallica album. So this is where I was saying that if you're going to do something wildly different, you should call it something different. And Van Halen 3 is an Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen solo album and should be only called something like that. It shouldn't have been done under the same banner. So I'll give it the caveat there. Those are the ones where I say illustrate the point where if you're going to be different, name it something different so it doesn't get the same weight attached to it, because Van Halen 3 is an odd one in the context of their career. and doesn't make a lot of sense even today. Rest his soul, I know, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so what was that?
St. Anger should have been under a different name.
Possibly. Just call it St. Anger by what was that side name they had going back years ago?
Yeah, they played the
Bihan or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Don't know. Sally something saying Lulu was a fucking travesty. Well, yes, there's not a lot of love for that one out there. I think you'd be hard pressed to find that one being a.
Lulu was kind of interesting as an experiment, but it's got a great listeners in it. Yeah,
some all right parts in it. It's a long parts. You have to be dedicated to get through the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah, it's pretty indefensible as a sit down for an hour and listen to it. It's
way too long for what it is. Anyway, we're not reviewing that. We're going to move on to our highlight, our main event of the evening. Let's get on to something that's a little more fun than Lulu. Let's talk about some Steel Panther. So in the comments or the description, you're going to find a random comment here before I do it. Mikey Zamboni on Facebook jumped in. What did I miss? I was watching The Bachelor. Probably not as entertaining as The Bachelor. That's what I'll say about us. So you can always go back to the start and tune in if you really want to, mate. In the comments, in the description, find a link for Steel Panther if you really, really love me, because that is what we're going to talk about next. That's your reference track in case you have not heard this album. That is a really slow drop-in, Dave.
That's beautifully done. Beautifully done. That was artistic.
Well done. That's the old. All we needed was you to do Jimmy's noise of the that we just needed that to go with it. That's all it needed. Well done. There we go. So in case you can't tell, we're going to talk about yeah, Sally's just gone, whoa. So there we go. All right. In case you can't tell, we are going to talk about a little album from Steel Panther called Balls Out. This is our main event of the evening. 14 tracks, 48 minutes. The second studio album of the American band, released October 2011 by Universal Public Records. Produced by Jade Ruston. 2 singles were released, and If You Really, Really Love Me and 17 Girls in a Row. This album peaked number 40 in the US, number 37 in the UK, number 50 here in Australia. There are guest spots on this from Dane Cook in the opening little intro track, as well as Chad Kruger from Nickelback and Nuna Betancourt on It Won't Suck Itself. We figured we'd do this one to celebrate the 10th anniversary, which I think is in October coming up. And then we had also the departure of Lexi Fox recently as well to sort of make this one jump to the forefront of our minds. Dave, let's go to you first.
I can remember the first time I heard Death to All But Metal, and I became an instant fan of this band. You know, whether you liked it or not, towards that time in the 2000s, 80s bands were getting back together, and I thought it was fantastic. And then this song comes along, asking the question, where is Def Leppard, where is Motley Crue? And saying death to Papa Roach and Blink-182 and calling 50 Cent and Kanye West a fag. And that's exactly what I was saying around the time. So I thought, this is perfect. This is right up my alley. Yeah. And after Feel the Steel, they could have just easily become just a one-off or fell into repeating the same joke over and over. But they didn't. They released this album and they managed to still stay Steel Panther and come up with a whole bunch of great songs. And in the mean, as well as the obvious humor in the image, they had some fucking great musicianship. You know, they didn't have to take the route of the subject matter that they do for their songs, because the riffs themselves and the musicianship and the drumming and the vocals, it's all off the fucking charts. This is a damn good band. Yeah. Whether your humor is up this alley or not, you can't deny that these guys know what they're doing. And Balls Out just picks right up where Feel the Steel left off. Regardless of image and subject matter, very gifted musicians, killer riffs and solos. Satchel was an absolute gun, and he was in fight with Rob Halford. So if he's working with the metal god, that's it. That's your fucking credentials right there. And it's great that we have a band that not only celebrates and parodies at the same time everything that was cool about the 80s. And it's a fine line between taking the piss and paying homage, but that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah. And you can tell that these guys are actually genuine fans of what they're doing. And Michael Starr has got one hell of a voice, and he can dish out these really funny stories.
Yeah.
And he's got that line of playing it straight, and also there's a smirk. Yeah. So you can tell. we're not taking ourselves too seriously, but we're also making these songs the best that they can absolutely be.
Yeah.
And at the time, they're taking current events like Tiger Woods' downfall and turning it into a pretty damn good song. And I'd like to hear them do more of that. There are plenty of celebrities out there that they can just rip the shreds. I like with each song, they can manage to not just create a story, but portray characters. And a lot of it's unspoken. Just the more you hear these stories, it's like they've got this character in mind and they've written a song around it, but you can really tell these type of people. You know the type of people that they're singing about in these songs, like Tomorrow Night, which is a fantastic song. The guy in that seems to think he's popular and he's God's gift to women. He's a fucking loser. He's at home burping the worm. That is a fantastic line. And Angry Birds was big at the time. Tonight I'm playing Angry Birds. Tonight I'm going to burp the worm.
Yeah,
fantastic. And there are so many great lines in this album, like in the I Like Drugs. The cop, the little soundbite. Cop's like, "Do you have any wines?" And he's like, "I got their first CD, but you can't have it, motherfucker."
Such an old one. So good.
I love that line. And then the song, "Let Me Come In." There's that one where he goes, "Because you like musicians and I like people with boobs." It doesn't matter how many times I hear that. I'm just like, yeah, I understand that. And that's funny. And then Gold Digging Whore. I want to hear you retards spell it out.
Yeah, that was...
I defy anybody who doesn't like that song to not be spelling it out along with that. That's fantastic. Yeah. Whether or not you like this probably comes down to what you find funny. But there's a quote from Ricky Gervais. He said, "You found it offensive. I found it funny. And that's why I'm happier than you." That's 100% correct. If you don't like this, sucks to be you. Just like Feel the Steel, Balls Out is a fantastic album. All You Can Eat is fantastic as well. Great trilogy of music. This gets 9 out of 10. Stands just like Tiger Woods, 17 girls in a row. It won't suck itself. That is a fantastic story about saving somebody's life. Tomorrow Night, Gold Digging Whore, I Like Drugs, and Let Me Come In.
Brendan, I think we're all going to agree on this one, aren't we? Surely?
Yeah. What's not to agree on? This is Steel Panther, Sergeant Pepper's. There's no doubt about that for mine. It's just a masterpiece. But for a lot of reasons, Dave said, we all know they can play. We don't need to back over that fucking thing over and over again. But like Steel Panther are crude and they're smutty and all this kind of stuff. But what I think they do on this album better than all the others is they kind of manage to avoid the cringy, crude for the sake of being cringy and crude moments and actually build it into a story. And the songs are actually funnier. And, to sing along with your mates and these things, you're actually getting a giggle. You're not just saying, "Suck my dick" for the sake of it. Yeah. Like it all sort of works in. And I know this is a stupid thing to analyze. But, this is where I think their songwriting was at its peak. It's their best album. By a long way, because it avoids all those moments. All the songs are catchy. It's the best thing Chad Kroger's ever fucking done. I can tell you that much. It's a very listenable thing. There's only a couple of weaker tracks on there and they're not weak, but I think like Critter and I Like Drugs are probably, it's a bit of a flat spot. But out of that, it's pretty much just banger after banger. It's fucking insanely good. How good the guitar riffs, how good the guitar sounds. I mean, even when it just drops in on Supersonic Machine right at the start, like, hello. Bang. Yeah. Yep. It's mixed beautifully. It's done well. But it's the storytelling and the lyrics on this one that I think puts it above all the others. All the other albums have good songs on it, but I think this is as an album is the best one by a fair stretch. So fuck it, I'll give it 10.
Yep. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, let me come in is still one of my absolute favorites. Love Weenie Ride for all the wrong reasons. It won't suck itself. 17 girls in a row. What am I missing? That's what girls are for. That's the one I was missing. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, brilliant. Masterpiece.
Well, yeah, it's 3 for 3. This is a fucking wonderful album. If you get the sense of humor, fuck me, this is a ride and a half. If you don't get it, switch off. Just fucking forget it. You never get. If you haven't got it by now, you're not going to get it at all. And one of those things where, it is what it is. But I fucking love this record. The only downside for me is that I didn't like the opening monologue followed by a Supersonic Sex Machine doesn't really give me the kick to open it that I wanted it to. Nothing bad, but just not riveting for me. I know when the guitar comes in, I get it, but the song itself is a bit sort of like, yeah, it's a bit by the numbers, Supersonic Sex Machine. It's not an overly interesting one. And I get that it follows on from the opening monologue, but it's nothing bad, but it's just like, oh fuck, compare that to, the opening of I Feel the Steel with Death War Metal. Yeah. It's like, okay, give me that. If you put Death War Metal at the start of this album, fucking perfect. Like that's it. Look, after that little flat spot at the very start, this is one fucking hell of a party. Just like Tiger Woods has some of the best lyrics going around. 17 Girls in a Row has one of the nastiest fucking riffs ever put down. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall or see footage of that being put down. That'd be just, you'd fucking know you're onto something when you're putting that one down. That is a great riff. Production is bang on, just like the performances. If you doubt the credentials or the ability of this band, then you're clearly not paying attention. If you don't like the context, that's one thing. You cannot say these guys are not talented or not well produced. They have smoked it in both those regards. I love how punchy and clear this is. The tones are to die for, especially in the guitar. And this thing it just pulses like a throbbing member all the way through. These guys are the benchmark of taking the old and bringing it into today. This hasn't aged a day in a decade, this record. It really hasn't. And that's saying something considering how fast that sort of stuff moves along. This is really so good today.
Except for
I've said it. Well, yeah, but that's a lyrical context, not a sonic context. And I get that because I've got the throwback element. So the MySpace thing, I actually get a kick out of it. I think it's hilarious, personally. These guys, if they had different lyrics, they'd be a household name, as in more than they are now. They'd tear it up. If they chose to be serious, which they never will, and we all love them because they're not. But if they ever chose to be, they would have just climbed up the charts because these songs are so fucking good. You cannot deny what these are. If you get tracks like Really, Really Love Me and Tomorrow Night with slightly different lyrics, they are going to go off. If you made them slightly more PC, they'd go nuts. If you dig the band and their content, and these songs are catchier than any STD that Lexi's mum is carrying around with her, this is simply stuff that goes off live and it's unforgettable to you. You'll be singing along to this in no time at all. Great solos, brilliant vocals. Michael Starr is a fucking gun. The drums and bass really anchor this whole thing down. This is a perfect four-piece. This really is the perfect four-piece. And they have the classic style of using the space to let the bass really fill things out, which is really cool. And when you see them live, it doesn't sound that different to what you get on the album. It's so well done. And I don't know, the guest spots on It Won't Suck Itself are just perfect. I think the solo and the guest vocal from Chad are great. From top to bottom, this is fantastic. You might find a song here that doesn't quite tickle your fancy, but at the same time, you'll find some ones that are all-time favorites as well. And like I said, if you're in on the joke, this is one hell of a ride. If you're not, well, then it sucks to be you because you're missing out. This is hilarious and fantastic. This is the ultimate party album for mine. Yeah. 9 out of 10 from me. 17 Girls in a Row. That is I fucking love that riff. It's one of my all-time favorite riffs. Gold Digging Whore. That chant moment is fucking banging live. It Won't Suck Itself and Tomorrow Night are other ones on there as well. But fuck me, this is a fantastic, fantastic record. So sucks for you if you don't like it. But anyway, where are we going here with the comments? We've got some comments coming through here, which is awesome.
I'll bet we do.
When you were going to get that. So going back to when Dave was throwing around the CD, what a cover from Dean. Yes, it is. Very much so. It's awesome. That's one of the it's a fantastic album cover for what this band does. That's perfect for them. Brendan Van Drumel jumped in on Facebook and said, a lot of people don't take Steel Panther seriously, but I've seen them live and they're all great musicians and they're hilarious. Yeah. If you've not seen this band live, even if you don't like them, go and see them live because you'll be blown away. Yeah.
Because even the band between songs adds another dimension.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
The stage performance aspect alone is worth checking out because they just ham it up just right. It's so, and Michael Starr's impression of Ozzy Osbourne is perfect.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely perfect. Like they could be actors, these guys, at the same time as being brilliant musicians. They are the consummate performers, these guys. Another one, Roy jumped in to say, I saw Steel Panther back when they played Sunday night in Vegas and Monday night in LA. They killed it back then. They kill it now too. They are fantastic. And Dean also saw them too. He said, I saw them at the Forum last time they were here in Melbourne doing a set of covers and originals that blew me away. It was the first time seeing them. Wow, cool. They got Joel O'Keefe as a guest singing Highway to Hell with them as well. They might take the piss, but the music is fantastic. Yeah, I did miss that set, but that from Brendan, you went to that, didn't you?
Yeah, I dragged Nikki along.
That's right, you did too. And even Nikki walked away because she hates this band. Nikki walked away going, got to give them credit. They're fucking fantastic live. David Fowler said, gotta love Steel Panther, bringing back some fun when a lot of bands are way too serious. Always a great listen. We'll put them in the car series tomorrow. Good. I'm glad to see people are, going to revisit this one after this one as well. Dean also said, they seem like they don't take themselves seriously, but the craft very seriously. That about sums it up. They know exactly what they're doing, but they have a lot of fun while they're doing it. David also said on YouTube, 17 Girls are reminding me a bit of rap riff-wise. So, yeah, there is another song I've heard where that riff is similar to it, but fuck, that tone at the same time. It's one of those examples where a guitarist has a tone, not just the guitar, but the actual player has a tone. I reckon Satchel is one of those for sure. Dean's jumped in saying, does anyone know if they have a new album in the works before Lexi left by any chance? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. They usually keep that sort of stuff pretty close to their chest. So I don't know, and I wouldn't be convinced because there's so much you don't know where these guys draw the lines between their real world and the satire world they play in. They keep it all pretty close in house, so I don't think we'd know.
They've been pretty prolific though, so there's every chance.
They had Fuck 2020 out last year.
That was just a rerun of Fuck Everybody. So but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a new album coming out soon. They might be one of the, because they're such a touring band, they might be holding off until they can tour it again. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case for these guys. But either way, I mean, they've had a bit of a downhill trajectory over the last couple of albums, but at the same time, they're always fun. So I don't know. This one in particular is fucking fantastic. This is probably it's probably their best one, to be honest, but well worth checking out. But that's it from that. We'll do a bit of a wrap-up and do a bin and all the usual stuff in just a second. So while we've got you all here, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe. All the links you need to follow us on in the description or the post or wherever you're tuning this. If you're watching live, thank you for tuning in now and getting in the comments. If you're watching or listening later on via the just being able to click play on the video or audio, then thanks for tuning in there as well. Feel free to always leave your thoughts and comments and all that sort of stuff. Follow the socials to keep up to date with what we're doing and get involved in these conversations. We just added Twitch tonight as well, so I haven't got a link for that yet, but it seems to be working okay. I'm sort of flicking over a bit here and there to hello, we got a new follower already on Twitch, so thank you. This is kind of fitting, actually. I'm not sure what Twitch is like as far as the audience metrics go, but we were talking about Steel Panther 7 minutes ago, and the person who followed us is Martin Lubed Her Thing. So there you go.
It'll fit right in.
You're going to enjoy us, mate. All right, so there we go. So that's it. Follow us, like, subscribe, and check out our sponsors too if you'd be so kind. So please check out Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Cotton Rockstar Finance. A big thank you to them for their support. Give them a like and a follow, all that sort of stuff. They're great people as well. So show them a bit of love for the support they give us here at the show. If you'd like to help us out yourselves, check out our Patreon page for how to do that. And just generally the best thing you can do is just share this stuff around so we can keep growing the online side of what we do outside of television. Just on the TV side of things, check us out 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights, which is tonight in Adelaide on Channel 44, and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. Got 3 more years of us on your TV screens, polluting them, so enjoy that as well. And that's about it pretty much. On Sunday, our next session, we're going to be talking about Brendan. This make you happy, so hopefully you'll join in. Ingvar Malmsteen, we're going to talk about that one. We're also going to discuss Godslave and a little Australian band called Nothing Sacred. They dropped a new album a short time ago, so we're going to talk about them as well on Sunday. Tuesday night is our interview night, and then Thursday is our next Deep Cuts session as well. So stick around, follow us for more information on that. And our next special episode coming up at the end of the month is Metal Church, which we're filming on Saturday. And we have a special guest joining us for that one as well. So Tim C, T1000, if you're jumping in anywhere, then we're looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, joining us for that one as well. We'll get to a bin in a moment. Let's get to. There are a few more comments here. So Dean has jumped in. Question for Dave: do you think Gunners will do a new album?
I really hope so. I would love to hear new music, but as I mentioned in the hot topic, I don't know what the lyrical content's going to be. That's my one thing that's complete mystery to me. I don't know which era or they're going to continue on from or what it's going to be. So it'd be interesting if they do manage to get an album out. It'd be really fascinating for me as a long-term, lifelong fan. But either way, we'll get something from Slash for sure, because I think he's working on something with the Conspiracies. So whether it's Guns N' Roses or that, it'll definitely be some Slash music. But yeah, I'd love new Guns N' Roses, but who the hell knows with this band? They could surprise the hell out of everyone and release something tomorrow. They've always done something their own way. So just wait and see.
Agree with that one. Here's an interesting one from Darren. Could it be possible that Lexi Fox will become a new character, still performed by Travis Haley?
Interesting.
Doing a bit of Ghost.
It could be a work, yeah.
No, but it'd be cool.
It would be cool. I don't think it's likely to happen, but it would be cool. Considering he has missed a tour already, I think that, the time is up on that stint, but that would be an interesting way to do it if they did do that. It could be that he could be a studio musician and then they'll have someone else play with him live. That's a possibility.
Just somebody putting the wig on.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in that regard. And we got some good comments here. So Brennan jumped in to say, no gods, but nothing sacred is kill. That's what we were talking about on Sunday, so hopefully you'll join us then. And he also ordered the new Desecrator, which we will be talking about that very, very soon. Dean jumped in to say, Slash and Miles Kennedy have an album done. It is in post-production or whatever at this point in time. It's not far away. It's due for release later this year. And David already said they already have a bass player. So there we go for Steel Panther. So who knows what's going on in all those things. We will find out in due course. And when we find out, well, then we'll all sit here and discuss it with you all as well in the next stream that becomes the time to do so. But I think that's kind of getting to the point where we're going to wrap this up and get out of here and let everyone get to bed on a Thursday night because everyone's going to work on Friday. But before we do, fun part of each episode, it's time to go to the bin. So, Brendan, let's go to you first. You've had to wait a few times tonight. Let's go to you first on the bin.
Okay. Let's start with, what's his name? John Coates.
Oh, fuck, that's bad.
Being one of the most arrogant pieces of shit ever caught on film.
Yeah, that's bad.
That was a disgraceful behaviour by any fucking human being. But I'd also like to throw in the bin Anastasia Palaszczuk for not leaping on that fucking opportunity because she's been playing politics quite a bit lately. And I don't give a shit what side of politics you're on. I just don't like people playing politics with this bloody pandemic thing. But she had the ample opportunity to stand up for fucking her gender and tell that fucking arrogant piece of shit to go fuck himself on camera, and she didn't take it. And I really reckon that would have been awfully cool. That probably would have cemented her for any position as the Premier of Queensland had she have done it. Just a missed opportunity. Just really should have launched.
Yeah. Should have had the backing as well.
Yeah, well, who knows? Coatesy apparently has a fair bit of pull, so maybe she knew more than I do, but Jesus Christ, I would have respected her a hell of a lot for it, I can tell you.
Well, considering all the talk going on about misrepresented and all the other stuff going on in politics and women being treated that way in that world, it was the perfect time to stand up.
It could have been a Hugillard moment, you know. I will not be, not the way we talk about misogyny by that man.
Yeah,
it could have been.
Now, not ever. Yep, it could have been her moment for that. Yep.
Could have been.
Nope.
So it was a bit of a shame. No, and she was obviously caught on the back foot as well, but,
Yeah. Well, no one expected that guy to do that, though. That was fucking out there.
No. Piece of shit.
Yeah. Bad. Really bad. I don't know. Dave, what have you got? It'll be non-political, I'm sure.
Yeah, I could. I've been paying more attention, unfortunately, recently. It's pissing me off. But there's a lot of things I could bend, but I'm going to keep things kind of lighthearted. Everything awesome kind of has a drawback. Before we started the taping, I was eating popcorn. Okay, this is piddly shit. It's annoying. You eat popcorn, you get a little bit stuck in your tooth.
Yeah,
stuck in my teeth.
that sucks.
All through the fucking tape. It's annoying the hell out of me. But I pressed on like a trooper. I got the taping done. It's still fucking. But yeah, the drawbacks of something awesome. Every time there's something awesome, there's always a little thing that fucks your life up. So that's going in the bin.
At least you didn't break a tooth. That can happen.
No.
Yeah.
Give it time. It's bound to happen on a taping.
Last tooth I broke was I was eating Nutrigrain and I pulled the tooth out afterwards. So there we go.
Nutrigrain. Jesus.
Nutrigrain. Because you don't get the really hard ones. You get the really fucking hard ones randomly in there.
Yeah. That should be on the commercial, man. You should have that on the commercial. Nutrigrain, man food, Iron Man food, pull your fucking tooth out after you eat it. None of this pussy fucking cornflake shit.
He could grab Mrs. Marsh with her fucking chalk dipped in the blue shit, punch the bitch out.
I forgot that. Yeah, that's a good one. That one. The calcium
that's a big throwback.
Yeah, wow, that's going back. I'd forgotten all about that. Fucking hell. Okay, I'll pay that. Well put. To keep things lighthearted, I will quickly bin Morrison and his apology. That's not an apology. This fuckwit just doesn't get it. Ever. He can fuck off permanently. The sooner we vote that prick out, the better. But my actual bin for this week, to keep it lighthearted, is the constant bitching and moaning all week about draws in the AFL. The regular season, they're fine. For finals, I get it. But in the regular season, let the draw fucking stand. It is a result. 2 points is 2 points. If you don't like it, fuck off and get your team to play better and get a win. That's just what it is. I don't get it. Most sports in the regular season do allow for draws. It's only when it becomes finals or playoffs, that sort of stuff, that you have to keep going until there's a result. And like I was saying, in the regular season, you get points, so it is a result. So fuck off. Leave it alone. There's been enough change to the fucking game over the last 5 years alone. It's enough. You can leave that one alone.
For the record, I disagree.
You disagree?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep, extra time.
Fuck. In home and away games?
In home and away finals, grand final, you name it. Extra time. Every one set of rules for the game, fucking done. We used to have three sets of rules. It was ridiculous. We had a draw, then we had extra time, then we had replay. It was absurd. Yeah. Pick one, go with it. Extra time. Is it still a draw at the end of extra time? Double overtime. Just
nah, because even in the NFL, you get one period of overtime, and then if it's a home and away season, then it's a draw after that. You don't have to have triple overtime like in the NBL.
That's a low-scoring game. Basketball just keeps playing overtime until they're done, and it's a high-scoring game, same rules, bang. And how often is it going to go to double overtime? Seriously.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. All right.
We don't argue on the bin very often.
No, we don't. And we're getting a lot of comments too, actually, believe it or not. So this is always good. Going back, Dean Whedon said the bin is the Queensland Premier. Enough said. Okay. Sally also said lollygobble bliss bombs are killer for that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're Johnny T.
Right there.
Fuck those ones.
Now we're all showing our age.
Yeah, we are. That's always doing that now. Dean, hey, can you really?
Yeah, really? Who was that?
Where?
I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You've got hunting. I haven't seen them for years. All right. Okay. Dean wants to put the removalists in the bin. Yeah, I think everyone in Victoria agrees with that
one. Their mum died. Shit happens.
Well, that's not her fault.
No.
That's anyway. And that's not the guys that brought it to Victoria, by the way. That's a family in New South Wales, not the ones that brought it to Victoria.
Okay. Yeah, that's sad.
Brendan says, "Go Cats," huh?
I thought it was
Go
Cats.
The ones where the mum died brought it to regional New South Wales. The ones that came to Victoria, there's nothing linked to that at all. So it's different.
Okay. Yeah, that's sad.
Yes. Darren said soccer ends most ends in a draw for every game, which is true. I did say before that Brendan said go Cats. Well, no, fuck off. What do we got here? Dean said there's too many rules in the AFL. No one knows what the rules are, not even the umpires at the moment, to be honest. And what do you think of the stand on the mark rule? I don't think Dave is allowed to speak on this, but Brendan and I probably have thoughts on this one. So what do you think of it, Brendan?
Horseshit. Fuck it off. The umpire's got enough to do.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
course you don't.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. I just don't want to agree
If
with
the
Brendan.
player moves backward, it's okay. If they move side to side, 50 meters. I'm okay with that.
No.
Anyway,
Umpires
I
got
just
enough
think
to
the
do.
players
Like, stand. They're a fucking kindergarten teacher.
I don't like the call because it makes them sound like they're talking to a dog. But anyway, so that's the weird thing about it. Sumaleth agrees. AFL draws are great, so thank you for that. And here we go. David Fowler, go with the golden point. They've used it in the VFL. I don't like golden points in.
I don't like golden point. No.
I don't like it in
cricket.
I don't like it in any sport. No. I hated watching the Chiefs get taken out of the fucking AFC Championship the other year because Patrick Mahomes never even got the fucking ball. Get rid of golden score bullshit. That fucking irks me no end. It's not a fair representation of what the team can do.
Yep.
Any sport. There we go. We found something to agree on, Brendan, in the bin. There we go.
I think that'll go with the theory with bring a penalty shootout into every single sport. Doesn't matter what it is. Basketball, it's a draw. Bring out the soccer goal, penalty shootout. Yeah, AFL, bring out the goal, penalty shootout. Like, doesn't matter what the sport is, penalty shootout. Killing me, doesn't matter, penalty shootout.
Yeah. Sally's jumped in to say, yes, you can get the lollygobbles. Yellow packet. All right, we'll have to go looking for those. And Dean said, no one can kick straight. How will they kick for a golden point? Well, that's true as well. Yeah, that's a very good point there. Well, we get way into the niche of Australian sports with international viewers out there as we go along. But I think that's about it. Has anyone else got anything want to add before we sign off on this one tonight?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Oh, new comment from YouTube. Oh, good to have a new face here right at the end. Metallian 64 has a plain episode of Goth Metal and a shitload of Nightwish Symphonic Metal. Dave, are you sock puppeting on YouTube?
No, I didn't touch the screen, I swear. Yeah, whoever you are, I like you. You're cool. I'll play heaps of Nightwish. That's cool.
Wait for Halloween. We'll have some fun with Halloween. And Sumo just make it whoever wins the coin flip wins the game. Yeah, I hate that too because that's what decided the fucking Chiefs thing the other year too. No, I don't like that idea either. But anyway, we'll have to work out what we're going to do for Halloween this year. Anyway, we'll get onto that one in the chat soon enough, I'm sure. What, you're going to say something there, Brendan?
Danzig Misfits.
Okay. All right. If we get Dave to do Danzig Misfits, Brendan, you have to return the favour and do Nightwish.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, right. That sounds like fun.
Okay, let's do Danzig versus Nightwish.
Oh, God.
Yeah, okay.
I know which way that's going to go between you two, like that.
Pick your top three albums. We'll go head to head.
This could be a fun episode on its own, actually, couldn't it?
Right.
That could be fun. There'll be like short albums versus long albums. Wartooth, Program to Comedy, now on vinyl. That's cool. That's a great album as well. So, yeah, check that out from Queensland Boys from memory. Check that out for sure. Sally's also metal in horror movies for Halloween. We have done that before, the soundtrack one.
Yeah, we did dabble on that one. Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun. It was good. But anyway, we're getting long in the tooth for tonight. It's past 10 o'clock. Let's get out of here. Let's get on with it. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and hope you've had as much fun as we have putting this one out here as well. God, Metallian, Dave, for you, play some live Nightwish with Taja. There you go. So we'll do a clip show toward the end of the year, and we'll make sure that happens there on TV for everyone out there as well. All right. But for now, it's time to get on with it. Time to get out of here. Time to go home. Everyone out there, hope you enjoy your Friday tomorrow and have a great weekend coming up. We'll see you all again on Sunday for our next stream. Until then, though, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Brendan.
As always, you know what to do.
Drink up.
Rock on.
If you're balled out.